Welcome back to Ask the Edmonds Cop. I am Teresa Whipple here with Sergeant Shane Hawley. We're going to talk about fraud today.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, very good. So the question came from a reader who mentioned that she had had a situation where she was actually basically blackmailed by somebody online because he had told her there was a problem with her computer, called her on the phone.
Yep.
She was very distressed about that, ended up not following through with his instructions, but she thought other people should know about the situation. Sure. So what can you tell us about fraud in general, the kinds of things people face?
Yeah, so I wrote down some bullet points, some of the more common ones that we see. So the first is phone calls from either someone saying they're with the IRS
right.
or police or sheriff's office. You owe us money, or you have a warrant, you have to pay us money, or we're going to come take you to jail. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The IRS doesn't call you, and if you have a warrant, we're not going to call and try and extract money from you. We're just going to show up at your door and take you to jail. So it doesn't work that way.
If that happens, you have bigger problems.
Correct. You can make bail to the court, but we're not going to collect that from you.
Okay.
So that doesn't happen. The other one is the late night call of a loved one, either held hostage. I have Timmy held hostage and you have to pay me money or we're going to execute him. Yeah. Or Grandma, I'm in jail.
Right.
I'm down in Mexico.
That one is much more believable for a lot of people. Yeah.
Grandma, I'm in jail. John? Yeah, it's John. Now you've given him the name.
Yeah.
That's how that happens. And that's concerning. I mean, it's a family member. You want to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
But those are scams.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll talk about one of the main reasons you can tell it's a scam right off the bat. If you get that call, then just hang up and call 911. Let us know. The other one is overpayment. And this kind of ties into what your viewer had brought up.
Yeah.
And that is you've posted something online for sale. And let's say it's a $1,000 item. And someone sends you an email, says, hey, I want to buy that. Sight unseen, great, no problem. And they want your account number, whatever. This is where I want the money deposited to. And they send you a check or they just deposit in excess of $1,000. So they say they give you $3,000. I'm sorry, I sent you too much money. And they seem real nice. It's not a big deal. Just go ahead and deposit it. It's fine. Or I've already deposited the funds in your account. You check, they're there. And you're like, okay, well, he must have just made a mistake. Someone made a mistake along the line. Could you just send me back a cashier's check or gift card or something like that for the excess? And in fact, for your time, just knock $200 off, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening there is they're essentially funneling fraudulent account funds from some other account through your account and having you wash it for them.
Right.
Is what that comes down to.
Okay.
Yeah. And the computer thing, I get the computer call all the time. Probably once, a week. I always find it funny. They always say it's Microsoft calling. And
right.
Then when I promptly tell them that I don't own Microsoft computer, all Apple products, then they hang up.
Yeah.
Funny, I guess Microsoft doesn't actually want to help me with that. That's because it's fraud.
Yeah.
And they want you to access your computer, give them passwords and so forth so they can basically remote log in and take over your computer.
Right.
And you see that, we've seen that on national news a lot lately with ransomware and stuff, where they then download something to your computer, it locks your computer up, and if you want access to it back, you got to pay us.
Right.
The reality is they're just going to take your money and you're not going to get access to your computer. So you're probably going to end up losing computer data at that point, but that's also a scam.
Right.
So.
Okay. So I guess really the bottom line is that if you get a call like that, you really have to be wary and probably just hang up and call 911, right?
Yeah, there's really nothing we can do with them. Most of them are call centers, and a lot of times they're out of country.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do to investigate out of country, scam phone calls. If it's local, we can look into that.
Right.
We've had some success. We've actually run a couple of blurbs where a fraud detective has been able to, if you report it early, we've been able to freeze some funds and give people their money back, but it's few and far between.
Right.
It really boils down to reporting it right away.
Right. Well, and also I think just getting a reality check, right? You guys are willing to kind of talk through that with somebody if they're not sure if it's legitimate. And I remember a case a few years ago where I think somebody was about ready to buy a gift card, and an alert store clerk, wasn't that at Safeway?
We've seen them at various stores.
Yeah, and they said, no, that's not right, and then they called police, and they stopped the woman from being swindled.
Yeah, a lot. We've seen that several times,
Yeah.
and a lot of banks are pretty good about it.
Right.
If you're showing up at your bank, they're like, yeah, something's not right. And same with some of the money tree places.
Okay.
Because all they do is these cash transfers,
Right.
and they kind of recognize, nah, something's not right here, and then end up calling 911. But it comes down to that early reporting.
Yeah.
And I get it. And there's a lot of them we probably don't even know about because people are probably embarrassed about it, like
Yeah.
I've been taken for a ride. But if you don't call, there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back again soon with another episode of Ask the Edmonds Cop.